Welcome back to Harlan's Coin Rings. I'm Harlan. Now that we have the ring all shaped and made, let's go ahead and add the finishing touches. Okay, so for this, I like to use 4/0 steel wool, a deburring tool, 600 grit sandpaper, your ring, of course. I like to use a dapping block. This is personal preference, not required. I like to use a small half round file. It's a fine file. I like to use this Connoisseur's cleaning and polishing rag and Connoisseur's silver polish. Okay, you don't necessarily have to use this specific brand. I went down to Walmart and I picked this up. And you know what? It works great, so I use it. And for the final part, where we add the patina, I use liver of sulfur. It comes in this gel package right here, okay, as you can see. Alright, and you just mix it in some water. I like to use it in a bowl, inside of a bowl, because it does smell a little bit. It smells a little bit like rotten eggs. So if it spills into the other bowl, and it's not quite so bad. Okay, so let's get started. Before we start, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, leave comments, and if you'd like to purchase one of my rings, I've left a link to my Etsy store in the comments section below. Okay, first thing I like to do is I like to go ahead and take a look at the ring. The ring has a, let me move the dapping block out of the way. The ring has a non-reeded edge and a reeded edge. See, this side is bumpy and this side is smooth, okay? This side was originally the outside edge of the coin, and during the shaping process, the non-reeded side usually turns out a little bit rough. So this is where I like to start. I like to go ahead and start the smoothing of that as I just take my 600 grit sandpaper. You don't need a very large piece. I just set it on the table and move it back and forth on there. And all you're doing here is you're just smoothing down the non-reeded edge of the coin. There we go. Let's take a look at that. There, you see how that's starting to shine up right there? Okay, so now then I like to further look at the coin, and then I look at the reeded side of the ring at this point, and I look at the inside, and I run my finger around there, and I see that it has a little bit of a lip on the inside. I'd like to get rid of that, so I first start with the deburring tool. Okay, I've just bought this down at, I think I got this at Lowe's or Home Depot. It wasn't a very expensive. You can also find it on Amazon. Alright, so you just go into the reeded side of the ring and run it around. What you're doing here is you're just taking off some of the edge to make that side of the ring a little bit more rounded. Alright. It doesn't take a lot with these quarters. There we go. That's starting to be nice. Okay, so I set that off. I'm pretty much done with that. And then I go ahead and I take a look at it a little bit more. And I do want to take a little bit more. So this is where I use the dapping block. I look around for a hole that the coin will rest on top of. There we go. And then I take my half round file and use the rounded edge and just further file down that edge, the reeded side. So let's, now what I'm doing here is I'm just further taking that down. I'm not being aggressive with it. I'm just gently removing some of the lip on the inside of the ring. And when you go ahead and make a ring yourself, you'll see what I mean. Almost finished with it. Alright, so One of the side effects of using this file, it does leave it a little bit rough in there, and it wouldn't be quite that comfortable to wear. So then I move the dapping block out of the way and re-hit that edge with some 600 grit sandpaper. I like to tear off a little piece that's about the size of my finger. The reason I do that is, see, it can rest on my finger, and when I slide my finger into the ring like that, I can just run it around and smooth that edge out. So right now, I'm basically working on comfort. Just bring it around, sand out that, take off any roughness. Excellent. Run my finger, that feels nice and smooth in there. So now I bring it back around to the non-reeded side, and I like to hit that a little bit with a 600 grit sandpaper as well. Just on the edge corner of the ring, not all the way inside, because I want to be careful not to ruin detail on the inside of the ring. All right. Excellent. Okay, that's starting to feel really nice. So now that I'm happy with the sanding, the shape, and the size, I go ahead and I dip it in my silver cleaning solution. So basically, you just take it off. This is really simple. You just take your lid off. It comes with a little basket inside. You drop it in the basket. You lower it in. Put the lid back on. Now the instructions say to wait to soak for a maximum of 10 seconds. Now these rings are really yucky because you've been using a torch on them, you've been putting them in metal dies, you've been rubbing sandpaper on them, all that stuff. So I actually like to leave them in there for like a minute or two. So as soon as that's ready, I'll be right back. Now the ring has been soaking for a couple of minutes. Let's take it out and start cleaning it. Alright, so I just take my lid off, set that over there, lift the basket out, lift the ring out. Set that off to the side. Now I like to rinse my ring off. I just use my little pail of water over here. So now I use my 4/0 steel wool and just bring it around the ring like this, and it doesn't take very much force at all. You can see that starting to come to a nice silver color. Just like that. Now I do the inside of the ring. Excellent. So see that? See how that's starting to shine up like that? Okay, so now I use my cleaning rag. Take that out of the box. Now this rag is nice. It has a cleaning side and a polishing side. I start with the cleaning side and just rub it around the outside of the ring. So then I'm bringing it over to the polishing side. Rub it around. Hit the inside of the ring. Like that. Alright. So now we're finished with this. I put it away. Completely done with this, so I'm going to put it under here. Now the next step is to go ahead and add the patina. I have the mixture. The instructions are on the bottle how to mix it. It does work better when it's warm, so you can use like a little bit of a crock pot. I don't have a crock pot here, so I just let it soak longer, because with it being cold it just takes longer. That's really the difference. So I go ahead and take the lid off this. Set it back down in there very carefully. I don't want stinky fingers. Alright, so then I put the ring in there, put the lid back on. Alright, so now I need to go ahead and wait. I like to wait on this step maybe 15-20 minutes. If you use the solution when it's warmer, it only takes a minute or two. So that's up to you on what you want to do there. So let's go ahead and just wait, and I'll be back. Okay, now the ring is nice and dark. Let's go ahead and do the last step. Now let me show you the ring. See that right there? It's nice and dark like that. I'm just going to set this over here. And now what I like to use is this nail sponge. This has multi-sides. It has one side that says file nail edge, remove edges, smooth nail, shine nail. I like to start with the side that says file nail edges. It's a little bit rougher, but it's not very rough at all. All it's going to do is just take the dark areas off the high points of the ring, so the lettering, the detail, the reeded side, and I like to do also the non-reeded side, make those nice and polished. So let's go ahead and do that. I like to start with the non-reeded side of the ring. This is just my process. You can start wherever you want. Just take and rub it back and forth like that. Alright, so now you can see where that is starting to get nice and shiny. I flip it over, do the reeded edge. Alright, so now look at that. Now you have nice detail where the ring is shiny, dark, where the reed goes down, it's dark, and up on the top, it's nice and shiny. So now let's do the edges. So I like to go ahead and just give it a nice brush stroke. I like to start with the word New Jersey. As you can see right here, it's starting to shine up. Now I just go around the ring like this. Now this step is really strictly a matter of taste. You don't even have to add a patina to it at all if you don't want to. But if you do want to, you can make it more dark, you can make it less dark. I like to start the ring out more dark and then take it off. It adds a lot of contrast to the ring, and it makes it very beautiful, in my opinion. So I just bring it around like that, just gently. There we go, the ring is all finished. Look at that detail. See that, where it's all nice and shiny on the high places and a little bit dark on the low places? And there you go, that's all there is to it. Join me next time where I talk about the difference between making a coin ring out of a quarter and a $50.